Okay, let's dive right in. Today, we're looking at something really compelling. It's happening at the intersection of technology and learning, right, specifically focusing on Africa.
Yeah, the sources you shared detail a brand new partnership.
Right, and it aims to use some pretty advanced tech to, well, potentially transform how students learn.
Exactly.
So our mission in this deep dive is really to understand what this initiative is about, who's involved, and why it might be, a game changer. We're exploring this idea they call spatial AI and how immersive experiences are creating what the sources describe as a new educational model.
And just to put the core news out front, it's a significant collaboration. The sources really highlight this.
Yeah.
It's between Victoria University in Kampala, Uganda,
Right.
and EON Reality, a big name in AI-assisted VR and AR.
So not just a small pilot program then?
No, the language suggests something much bigger, designed for real impact, it seems.
Got it. So Victoria University in Kampala, Uganda, presented as a key player with a vision. And EON Reality, out of Irvine, California, described as a world leader in these immersive technologies for, well, knowledge transfer.
That's right. And the sources mentioned this partnership is supported by the Spatial AI R&D Grant Program.
Which suggests a serious commitment, right? Pushing the tech in education.
Exactly. And their ambition, well, it's pretty expansive based on the material.
Oh, so?
They explicitly talk about establishing the Spatial AI University.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, the mission isn't just small improvements. It's about redefining 21st century education for students across Africa using this tech.
Okay, let's unpack that tech a little based on the sources. They mention AI-assisted VR and AR, XR, and they really emphasize spatial AI. Now, for you, the listener, maybe you follow this space, but what does spatial AI mean here in this context?
Well, based on the source material, it seems the focus is on embedding AI deeply within these VR and AR environments. So spatial AI, as they use the term, it looks like it refers to the AI's ability to understand and interact intelligently within that 3D space, the virtual or augmented world.
So not just a chatbot.
Right. Think more like an intelligent system that gets the spatial relationships. It understands where things are, where the user is, what they're doing in that digital world. Right. This lets the learning be much more dynamic, more responsive, personalized.
How might that work practically?
Well, the AI could potentially guide a student through, say, a virtual dissection, or know if they've used a virtual tool correctly, or adapt a simulation based on their actions, all because it understands the space.
That does sound like more than just putting a textbook in VR. It's like an interactive, intelligent world.
Exactly.
And the sources mentioned a specific teaching model tied to this, the third way. What's that about?
The third way, yeah. According to the source, it's framed as a new framework to overcome limitations.
Limitations of what?
Of existing models, really. It's trying to bridge the gap you often see between traditional on-campus university learning and purely online learning.
Okay, the classic divide.
Right. Traditional unis offer structure, face-to-face labs. Online gives you flexibility, access, but sometimes online lacks that hands-on, truly immersive feel.
Makes sense.
So the third way aims to combine the strengths. By using spatial AI and XR, it wants to provide those immersive practical elements, virtual labs, simulations, but with the reach and accessibility of online delivery. The stated goal is empowering students with practical skills, relevant experiences for the digital world.
Especially important in Africa's growing economy, I imagine.
Absolutely. The sources emphasize that. It's not just content delivery. It's about enabling, doing, and experiencing.
So best of both worlds, physical presence feel, digital reach, all powered by this intelligent, immersive tech. Fascinating idea.
It is.
What about the practical aims? What do the sources say Victoria University hopes to achieve with this?
Well, from Victoria University's side, the sources say their aim is clear. Use spatial AI and XR to give students future-ready skills.
That phrase again. Practical competencies.
Exactly. Not just academic knowledge. They see it as a chance to maybe set new benchmarks for personalized interactive learning. First for them, but maybe influencing education across Africa.
Positioning themselves at the forefront.
Seems like it.
And EON Reality. What's their vision here?
EON Reality's view, according to the sources, is broader democratizing knowledge globally.
Okay.
They see this partnership as a big step in making high-quality, immersive education more available no matter where you are, creating an ecosystem that breaks down barriers, physical, economic.
Using their tech platform.
Right. It fits their bigger mission of accessible, advanced learning worldwide.
It's interesting how both, VU in Uganda and EON in the U.S. align on empowering students for Africa's digital economy.
Yeah, the sources really hit that point hard. It connects this educational approach directly to preparing students for real jobs.
It's about ensuring students are skilled, capable contributors in that digital transformation.
Precisely. Addressing the need for adaptability, problem-solving, tech familiarity.
Okay, let's get specific. For the students at Victoria University right now, what direct benefits do they get from this partnership, according to the sources?
The sources point out two main things. First, access to EON Reality's big XR knowledge library.
Okay, pre-existing content.
Yeah, described as a vast collection of immersive learning stuff. Science, medicine, technical skills, history. Students can jump into these virtual worlds.
Sounds engaging. What's the second benefit?
Second, and this seems really significant, they get access to a code-free development platform from EON Reality.
Code-free. What's the big deal about that based on the source?
Well, it's pretty huge. I mean, students aren't just consuming content. This platform lets them become creators themselves. They can use intuitive tools to build their own immersive experiences, simulations, presentations in VR and AR.
Without needing to be expert programmers.
Exactly. No extensive coding needed. It fundamentally changes their role.
From passive learner to active participant, maybe even a contributor.
That's the idea.
So how does that ability to create tie back to making them creators, innovators, and leaders?
It's a direct link, really. The library gives them the rich learning experiences, but the code-free platform gives them the tools to apply knowledge, solve problems, develop new things using these technologies.
Okay, so they can build things relevant to local needs.
Potentially, yes. Build simulations for local industries, create immersive project presentations, maybe even develop new teaching tools themselves.
So it moves beyond just getting info to actually using tech for creation and innovation.
Right. Directly preparing them for roles needing adaptability and leadership in tech within their own fields. It's about practical creativity and fluency.
That really clarifies how the tech serves the educational goals. Let's bring in the leaders' perspectives from the quotes in the source. Dr. Mugunga Lawrence, the Vice Chancellor of Victoria University. What does he emphasize?
Dr. Mugunga's quote really backs up the university's strategic direction. He talks about aiming to be a world-class university for transformational education.
Strong words.
Yeah. He stresses that embracing spatial AI and XR is about equipping students with those future-ready skills. He sees it setting higher benchmarks for personalized, interactive learning, maybe inspiring wider reform in Africa.
And he connects it to their values.
Explicitly. Innovation, diversity, critical thinking. He frames it as laying the foundation for a bold new chapter in African education. It sounds very strategic.
Definitely sounds intentional. What about Dan Lajerskar, chairman of EON Reality? His take.
Lajerskar offers the view from the tech provider side, more of a global context. He calls this partnership a pivotal leap for EON Reality in democratizing knowledge.
So, part of their bigger picture.
Right. For him, launching the spatial AI program like with Victoria University shows educational transformation in action. He highlights giving students experiential opportunities that were unimaginable a decade ago.
Focusing on the tech's power to break barriers.
Exactly, making advanced learning accessible globally.
It is compelling how they both articulate such a strong shared vision, but from their own angles. And just to quickly ground this, the source gives some background. Victoria University, established 2013, chartered 2022.
Yeah, recognized by Uganda's president.
And it already had a focus on practical, hands-on learning, student-centered.
Which is important context. This partnership builds on that existing foundation.
And EON Reality.
The source identifies them as the world leader in AI-powered XR knowledge transfer, with over 25 years in the field. And it notes they launched this specific spatial AI university platform in 2025.
Meaning Victoria University is using their very latest tech.
That seems to be the case.
Okay, so bringing this all together, this partnership, Victoria University and EON Reality, fueled by that grant program, built around the third way.
Yeah.
It represents a significant effort, based on the sources, to reshape education, particularly in Africa. The emphasis is clearly on integrating practical, immersive, intelligent learning to prep students for a digital future.
Precisely.
Yeah.
The sources consistently frame it not just as adopting tools, but fundamentally changing student engagement with knowledge. It's about equipping them with future-ready skills, enabling them to be creators, innovators, leaders through this tech.
Right.
And this deliberate blend of traditional, online, and experiential tech Well, it raises a potent question for you, the listener.
Okay.
How might this third way model this focus on applied learning through immersive tech potentially influence higher education more broadly, beyond just this region?
Mm.
Think about how blending physical, online, and immersive learning might reshape universities globally, and how it prepares learners everywhere for careers that demand, well, not just knowledge, but adaptability and practical application in tech-driven fields.